From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
A year after the city of Bozeman banned the use of fireworks within city limits, I'm MTN's Heaven Van visiting with local merchants.
A major upset in the most expensive primary in America. I'm Jared Hill with the race that could be a referendum for progressive Democrats on Israel, plus losses for Trump-backed candidates.
I'm Jonathan Amberian in Helena. After reopening a bidding process for the state employee health plan, Montana leaders say they're ready to award the contract to the company that's already been providing the services. I'll have the details.
Alrighty, it is 6 o'clock on this Wednesday morning. Jane McDonald and Matt Elwell with you. Well, Matt Flag is flying fast.
Yeah, pretty good breeze setting up overnight, and last night got a little windy at times, but I think today the wind speeds are still there, but we're talking showers and thunderstorms for the afternoon, pretty isolated for most of us. You'll see maybe on the horizon more so than right overhead for the most part. That doesn't mean we won't see those showers. My basic meaning here is it's not for everybody.
Right.
We're not sharing all that well. Temperatures into the 50s and 60s. The afternoons, the best potential showers trying to develop. We'll see that increase in cloud cover as you get into the noon hour. The afternoon, you see a few of those isolated thunder showers, a little bit more widespread as you head into the evening. You can see that wind is whipping around still, a little shake in the camera. Isolated thunder showers for the afternoon for Bozeman, for Butte, just a slight chance for the morning. I'm going to talk more about your hour-by-hour forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you very much, Matt. Well, just a year ago, Bozeman banned the use of fireworks within city limits. MTN's Heaven Van reports what local merchants are saying about the fireworks sales this year and what firefighters are saying about their preparations for the holiday.
Before you go lighting off fireworks this 4th of July, you're going to want to make sure you don't live within city limits.
All fireworks except for sparklers are banned in the city. You cannot discharge any firework inside the city.
Bozeman Fire Chief Josh Waldo adds that even sparklers will be regulated, the ordinance stating that they must be magnesium-free and cannot exceed 12 inches. Curious about how the ordinance has affected sales, I spoke with local fireworks merchant Caslin Roulier, who says her and her family have been selling fireworks near Bozeman for 18 years.
I think at first people were a little bit hesitant. It was a little bit slower, but I think people were cautious and asking good questions and kind of getting things that were working and where they were living.
Chief Waldo adds that city enclaves, or county islands surrounded entirely by Bozeman City, are also subject to the ordinance.
People ask based on where they live, and so yeah, we're always happy to answer questions and make sure people are abiding to the rules.
Citations can be given for breaking the ordinance, but Chief Waldo hopes that their primary role will be education.
We'll be out with our law enforcement friends primarily to educate. You know, we want people to understand. Some people are new to the community, so we want to talk to them, make sure they're aware of the ordinance.
But if you're still looking for a show inside city limits, Waldo adds,
we want everybody to come down to the fairgrounds, Gallatin County Fairgrounds, on the 4th, 10 o'clock. We'll start the show. It'll last about 20 to 22 minutes. We look forward to seeing everybody out there.
For a map of the restricted area, visit our website. In Bozeman, Heaven Van, MTN News.
Thank you very much, Heaven. Now we are less than 5 months away from the November election, and this morning we know the outcomes of several key primary races around the country. One of them, in the district just north of New York, was the most expensive congressional primary in American history. Jared Hill breaks it down.
George Latimer, a moderate Democrat serving as a county executive, celebrated Tuesday night after winning the Democratic congressional primary for New York's 16th district.
And if you hold a strong belief, you still must work with other people who don't share that belief, because America hangs in the balance.
A not-so-veiled reference to the incumbent he defeated, two-term progressive Democrat Jamal Bowman. The former middle school principal has called Israel's actions in its war with Hamas a genocide and criticized Latimer, who received millions from outside pro-Israel American political lobbying groups. In his concession speech, Bowman remained steadfast in his criticism of Israel.
God help us build a better world where everyone understands when we say free Palestine, it is not anti-Semitic.
Bowman was also dogged by controversy, pleading guilty to pulling the Capitol fire alarm last year during votes. He'll finish up the term but won't be back next January. Likely to return to Washington, conservative U.S. Representative Lauren Boebert of Colorado.
America will rise again.
She won the Republican primary in Colorado's right-leaning 4th District, only recently moving there to avoid a tough re-election bid. Voters seemed unfazed by this video of Boebert getting kicked out of a Denver theater after causing a disturbance. And in the state next door, U.S. Representative John Curtis won Utah's GOP primary for the U.S. Senate seat Mitt Romney is vacating.
If you expect me to be Mitt Romney, I'm going to disappoint you.
But like Romney, Curtis is a moderate Republican and was not the candidate endorsed by former President Trump. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
And with less than 5 months until the presidential election, it seems young voters have the potential to play a big role in the outcome. A new CBS poll shows voters under the age of 30 favor President Biden by more than 20 points. But the number also reveals major questions about whether they will actually show up to the polls. Caitlin Huey-Burns listened to young voters across the political spectrum in the battleground state of Arizona to find out what's on their minds ahead of the election.
Chaotic?
Kind of scared, a little bit. I don't feel like anything is improving.
Shambles.
These are the voices of young voters in Arizona describing how they feel about the state of the country right now, and their vote could be key in picking the next president if they show up.
The couch is looking real comfy right now.
So you'd be entirely comfortable staying home?
For sure. Absolutely.
Roger Ward is 29 and doesn't feel like any of the candidates are speaking to issues affecting young Black Americans.
You have to give us something to vote for.
Do you think that sitting this election out sends a message?
Absolutely, because we're weaponizing our vote. I just registered a week ago.
Adam French, who is 26, was planning to sit this one out until he considered a third option.
I didn't feel like inspired, but yeah, seeing RFK was like, okay, now I actually want to vote.
At an arts festival in Phoenix, other first-time voters spoke about their concerns.
I'm not happy about my options, but I do understand that if I don't vote, then it's probably a vote for Trump, and I don't want that.
New CBS News polling shows 66% of voters under 30 say they will definitely vote in November, but that's far less than older Americans. Young voters were key to Biden's victory in 2020, but among those who did show up 4 years ago, only 3/4 say they'll do so again. And the economy is a central issue. Our new poll shows a majority feel it's gotten harder to buy a house, raise a family, and get a good job. Some said that's driving their support for Trump.
He seems more competent. The cost of everything is kind of going up in general.
The economy is also critical for Biden supporters like Ruby Morales, a recent college grad who's working at a Starbucks while she looks for a career.
It's kind of unfortunate that my current job is paying more than my future job.
And it's not lost on young voters that they are having to choose between the two oldest candidates. Half of them say neither Trump nor Biden understands younger people, and they're less likely to want to vote because of that.
Preferably somebody under the age of 50 would be awesome. In 2020, it's the same options you had then, and we all saw how that went.
And it's also worth noting that while the economy is a top concern for young voters, the issues of abortion, climate, and race and diversity also rank higher for them than for other age groups. All of those issues are likely to come up at this Thursday's presidential debate. Caitlin Huey-Burns, CBS News, Washington.
Now back in some Treasure State headlines. Earlier this year, the state reopened a bid for a company to manage health insurance for state employees. Leaders said it was a response to questions about the process. Now they've announced their intent to re-award the contract. MTN senior political reporter Jonathan Amberian has a closer look at that decision.
After a rebidding process that lasted several months, the Montana Department of Administration says they're ready to award a contract for managing state employees' health insurance to the company that's been handling those services the last 2 years. The department said it would be entering negotiations with Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Montana to finalize a contract. The state contracts with a third-party administrator to manage the state health plan, which provides benefits for about 28,000 members, including state workers, family members, retirees, and legislators. In 2022, leaders announced Blue Cross Blue Shield would take over the plan. In a 3-year deal they said would save the state $28 million. But they said in January they'd end the contract early and put out another bid, saying it wasn't clear all the applicants had the same understanding of the requirements. Allegiance, the company that previously managed the health plan, had protested the award to Blue Cross Blue Shield. The two companies were again finalists this time around. The department released evaluation documents showing the two companies scored similarly on many aspects of the bid, but a committee ranked Blue Cross Blue Shield higher in areas like claim administration, plan implementation, and overall cost. A new state law passed last year requires leaders to provide a week-long public comment period before officially awarding the contract. They'll be accepting comments on this award through Sunday, June 30th. In Helena, Jonathan Amberian, MTN News.
6:10 now. High school students may receive a general understanding of the American government through social studies or history classes. But the American Legion's annual Girls and Boys State gives them hands-on experience, putting what they've learned to practice. And MTN's Ali Kaiser attended this week to see students are taking away from the program.
This week, roughly 80 high school students from across Montana are attending the American Legion's Girls and Boys State right here at Fort Harrison.
Coming to this program is really important because now I've learned how important government is and how all the aspects and how it all works together.
Jaden Kitzman from Billings is one student attending the program. She campaigned and was elected as the girls' governor.
I hung up lots of posters with like candy and stuff, kind of bribing but not really bribing.
Lane Shivers from Kalispell was elected to be the boys' governor. He says the program will help him after high school.
Going into the real world, we're gonna have to vote. We're gonna have to understand how our government works, why things are, and know what we're voting for. So going into a vote blind and not understanding what we're doing can have major consequences.
Typically, state is held at the Capitol building, but had to be at Fort Harrison this year due to construction. Students attend from Sunday to Saturday and work from about 7:30 a.m. to 9:30 p.m.
This is a hands-on environment for them to actually get to see what it really is like to move a bunch of bills, what it's like to actually have a debate, what it's like to build the city ordinances and go through legal procedures all the way up to the appellate and Supreme Court levels. They all get to do it, not just read about it.
This year, Montana is becoming the first state to combine the American Legion Girls and Boys State. Normally, boys and girls attend separate sessions.
The key leaders actually in our government are actually, both male and female. It's not just one way or the other. And so we're kind of excited in Montana that we are those people that like to be champions and lean forward.
This is a great experience working across genders and throughout the state. And I think the only thing that would make this a lot better is have a lot more participants.
2 girls and 2 boys will be selected to attend the American Legion Nationals in Washington, D.C. in July. In Helena, I'm Ali Kaiser, MTN News.
I think that's just absolutely incredible.
Great experience.
Yes, I mean, taking what kids learn in a textbook and then applying it to real life. I think that's really a great skill. Now, before we head into a break, well, speaking of great skills, I would say swimming definitely ranks among the top. I mean,
sure.
It's definitely an important one, but I gotta say, my doggy paddle would not be able to do this, Matt. I am gonna take you over to Chesapeake Bay.
I don't see it. Oh, really?
Oh,
Chesapeake Bay.
This is from Chesapeake Bay to the Baltimore Bay. This is how far this young woman swam. She's from Maryland, went from Chesapeake Bay to the Baltimore Harbor. 14 hours she spent swimming
Holy moly.
24-mile swim. Absolutely incredible effort.
The stamina. Is astounding. That's great.
Absolutely
Everybody
amazing.
else is sitting on a boat.
Oh, I'd be in that kayak. Just go, keep going.
Yeah.
Swim faster. Oh,
Good
yeah.
stuff.
She did that in 14 hours, the first person to do so.
That's pretty intense.
Making history. She finished 5 o'clock in the evening yesterday, Tuesday. It's pretty impressive.
It really is.
Stuff that she was doing. She started at about 3 a.m. or so her time. So pretty incredible stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, strength of the human spirit.
Taking a rest, at least the water wasn't choppy. That's good.
No, but she didn't do the doggy paddle. I saw. She didn't appreciate my method.
Yeah, that's right.
Now we're going to take a break. When we come back, though, we are going to be talking back about politics. Eyes are on the general election in November. And after the break, we are going to explore the changing voting patterns among Latino voters.